Hi, my name's Zoe Whitehead, and I am one of the presenters on the Goddess Awakens 5-day experience. I'm a transference healer and practitioner. I'm also a teacher as well. I facilitate meditation classes and have clients that come for one-to-one healings and consultation. I'm based in the UK in the Midlands. So I've trained for probably about 10, I think 12 years now with Alexis Cartwright, who's the founder and channeler of Transference Healing. And I started off running these magical energies just on myself and on my family and friends. And then this kind of morphed eventually as I evolved into having my own client base and teaching as well. So today, or should I say in this video, we are talking about the water element. So we've already done the earth element and we're going to now go on to the water element, which is all to do with our emotions, our emotional body. And you know how water cleanses and purifies us and cleanses the emotions. We're also going to be talking about karmic ties, those triggers that we have with friends and family, loved ones and colleagues and you name it. You know, how to sever them, how to work with that, how to release those restrictive emotions as well. And also we're going to talk a little bit about the power of forgiveness. So we've got all of that going on in this video. So let's make a start. So the first thing that I need to say is the element water. Remember we talked about in the earth element video how each element impacts on us, on our body, on a particular area of the body and our kind of general sense of well-being. So, and it is important to have this balance of the four elements to create an anchor through the element ether, to bring in through more light for ourselves. So water is, what it does for us is it nourishes, it soothes, it cleanses us. And we have water all around us. We're 70% water, aren't we? We have it through the rain. At the moment, it's this really rainy week in June in the UK. It's been incredible, the downpour of water. And I love the rain. It always makes me feel very introspective. And I feel that a lot of releasing is going on. That's what water does for us. It purifies it. It brings up the emotions so that we can purify them, look at them and release them. We have lakes, we have the ocean. So this is why a lot of us feel very relaxed when we spend time at the seaside. But also, if you go to areas of still beauty, whether big lakes, it can be very, very soothing for us as well, as can a river. So there are lots of ways that we can connect in to the water element. Now this element resonates with the navel chakra, which is around the belly button area. It kind of connects us into the moon frequencies as well, the moon and the feminine principles. So, all the intuition, the gentleness, the nurturing, the emotions, the psyche. It resonates with all of this. Now, remember in the Earth video, and you've probably seen some of the other presenters talking about the animal magic cards. These are the deck of cards that were channeled through by my teacher, Alexis Cartwright. You can see these have been very well used, these ones. I've worked very closely with these cards. I love them. These cards, the elementals, the animal cards, and the mythical beings that are within these cards, all resonate with attributes of the 5 elements. And here I've got a couple of the cards, or the beings, should I say, that resonate with the water element. So we have crab, beautiful crab, it's all about our emotions, and undine, which is quite mermaidy if you look at it. So again, this is all about supporting the crystalline structure of water. So I've got these two with me so that this is just going to support this teaching. Okay, so I'm going to pop those down there. Now, if we're too unbalanced, if we don't have enough of the water element within us, we can become very emotional and very governed by our emotions, which was definitely my case before I started my work with transference healing. I was very much at the mercy of my emotions. Or we can become emotionally suppressive. So we find it very difficult to express ourselves emotionally. We kind of tend to stuff our emotions down, which causes problems as well, can start to affect and impact on the physical. Now, if we think about it, 70% of our cells are made of water. So there's a lot of water within us. And if we think about it, the tides are governed by the lunar cycles, which is all the feminine principle, which again is the emotional side of ourselves. So like the tides, we are also very impacted by the moon as well. So you can see how it all weaves in. You've probably heard of Dr. Emoto, who is this very well-known Japanese scientist, and he studied the effects of our thoughts and our feelings on water. He would get huge bowls of water and get people within the room. They were trained in a specific way to meditate and bring into themselves certain feelings of love and forgiveness, like really high frequency feelings. And he'd photograph the water, like magnified thousands of times before and afterwards. And he could see that whenever the emotions that were being given out around the water were of a high frequency, there was this beautiful crystalline structure, which is what Undine is all about. That supports us in that way. But then he also saying people to kind of meditate and bring into themselves feelings of a lower frequency, like jealousy and anger and frustration. And again, he took those photos and he found that there was no crystalline structure at all to the water. So he was able to prove that through our thoughts and our feelings, how, they really impact very powerfully on our body, on our physical body. So that's really something that we need to think about. So as I said, water purifies you. It helps us to bring up these feelings and to kind of let go of them. So that's what, it's so important when we think that often our subconscious thoughts and feelings can be very negative. We have this kind of record that goes over and over in our heads. And we've got to think about how that's impacting on our physical body. So water helps to purify, cleanse, soothe, and calm our emotions. So things like, how could we support ourselves? Well, things like salt baths are brilliant. We don't need to go to the sea salt. We could actually do that for ourselves. Unpurified sea salt is amazing for purifying. Salt's very purifying, as is water. You could even have foot baths if you don't have a bath at home. Spending time at lakes, or maybe even getting a little water feature in the garden. Fish tanks, watching fish, very, very relaxing and releasing for us. The rain, as I said, just going out in the rain or watching the rain and embracing the rain. Often we kind of reject it. And this is very much the frog energy of the purification and the releasing. After a thunderstorm or after rain, it feels very clear, doesn't it? And this is why, because it releases things for us. So the other thing that I wanted to talk about is the way that we get affected by karmic relationships, because again, this all comes under the umbrella of the water element. We all have karmic ties. Now, whether this is with a family member or a friend or a colleague, could be anyone, and sometimes it might not be someone we know particularly well, but they kind of trigger us, and that relationship becomes quite difficult for us. So I wanted to talk about how we can, what karma is and how we can release that a little bit more, because this can be a great source of emotional imbalance for us. And what I mean by karmic ties is it will be someone, a soul that you will have had probably many, many lifetimes with, but in this lifetime it's something that remains unresolved. So you've come through again with that particular soul, maybe in a different relationship, like they may have been your brother and now they're your mum, or you see what I mean? We have soul contracts and we come through with those souls in different ways, but to continue to clear more of that unresolved relationship and aspect. So so it will be, if you cannot explain why you feel so triggered by that person, the likelihood is that it's just karma that plays out between you. You know, so these emotions that we hold, whether it is karmic or whether it's just, you know, a painful experience from childhood that you still carry within you, or whether it's a past life aspect of yourself, you know, we have to bring these up, feel them, to release them. And that is the only true way to do that. Now, in my Rock Your Goddess masterclass, which is part of the bonus package, I'm going to give you lots of tips and techniques, and a specific technique on how to, when a negative emotion comes out, how to actually deal with it. There's a very specific way. And because for me, I feel like the only way to release is to feel. And I know it's uncomfortable, but it is truly the only way. And at the end of the day, it's only a feeling. You know, someone said that to me many years ago. It's only a feeling. It's not who you are. And this immediately lets go of that power around it. Now, emotions can block us so much that they stop us from moving forwards. And in fact, we're living in the past. If we're still very much inhibited and restricted by these emotions, they block us. So it is about recognizing that and moving forwards with different techniques and having a healing. You know, book yourself on for a transference healing. If you are stuck in something and you're struggling, there's no need. The healing is so deep that it will move you forward. It will absolutely move you forward, open your consciousness so that you can move forward. It works with severing karmic ties as well. So it will improve your relationships. It will look at past life aspects. It will explain certain things about the way you are. So I would definitely recommend that you have either a Beyond Doorways healing, which our healers are offering, or book in for a full transference healing with myself or another of the practitioners that you presenters rather that you resonate with, because it will absolutely help move you forwards. And I also feel that from my own experience and working with many clients that we get so disconnected when we're so caught up in the emotional charge and those restrictive feelings that make us feel really heavy. They restrict us and we cannot move forwards with our lives. So, you know, it's about shedding that, okay? And it can also block gifts and talents, latent gifts and talents that have not come through for you yet. So there's many benefits to clearing that emotional blockage and just allowing you that vibrational flow of emotions to flow beautifully within you once more. You know, it will also be restricting you and impacting on your physical body. After many years, you can start to manifest disorders, physical symptoms. You know, so it's a good thing to have regular healings so that flow can just continue within you. So we're just going to talk a little bit about forgiveness before I show you this technique to sever those karmic ties. So in transference, we talk about the 3 chambers of the heart. Our heart has physical chambers, but it also has etheric chambers. We have 3. Most of humanity is within the first chamber, which is just our ability to feel love for another. It may be conditional love, but it's love, romantic love for a friend, love for just another being, or, you know, whatever it is. So most of us are there, and now this chamber resonates with the pink ray. With the green ray. Then we move, as we kind of grow and open our consciousness, we move more into the second chamber, which is a deeper chamber, which is the one that we're going to be working with a little bit now. And as I speak, this is going to be opening up your consciousness to all of this. Now, this works with the pink ray, and this is all about our ability to feel unconditional love for another and mastering more of those feelings of forgiveness. Very difficult, you know, I'm not a master, you know, but it is something that I have to work on as well as all of us, you know. I mean, I have more of those tools and techniques, but it is really difficult to embody in the moment. But when we master more of that, we really start to clear and sever those karmic ties, and it consequently improves our relationships. So, you know, we work with the love. You know, I often say to my clients, just stop, center yourself. This is a technique we looked at in the Earth Element video. And just bring through that power of love. You may not feel love for that other person if they've irritated you or frustrated you, But the more you bring in that feeling, that strong feeling, the more quicker you're able to connect to it. You feel love for that other person. The forgiveness will start to come through. You'll start to detach with more understanding and compassion. The stronger that forgiveness comes through, and you will absolutely shift your relationships. You'll start to see that magic happen. Okay, so I work very much with the feeling of forgiveness, feeling of love as well. I help my clients with specific tools that they can go away to use once they've had their full transference healing with me. So that's another technique that I work, I use regularly with myself and with my clients. But today I'm going to be showing you, just to finish off, a powerful severing karmic ties. It's actually called the blue bubble meditation, but that's what it's doing. It will be severing karmic ties. Actually, I call it meditation. It's more like a technique, but it's something that you can absolutely go away and use. I have teenagers that come see me as well, and they use this technique. It's super, super simple, but really, really powerful. And that's what we want, right? We want things that we can use in the everyday to help us. It builds our meditative practice, our spiritual practice, and it strengthens us as a person. It strengthens, it opens our consciousness, opens our heart. Okay. So while you get yourselves ready, I just want you to get yourself comfortable. I'm just going to get myself comfortable and start running the energy. I'm just going to be running a little bit of energy on you. I just want you to listen to the words and be open to receive those frequencies now. Before we go into it, this is a technique, meditation technique that was channeled through by my teacher, Alexis Cartwright, the founder of Transference Healing. I just like to honor her because it's just a beautiful one. Okay, and let's begin. So I want you to close your eyes. And before we go into the technique, I just want you to call to mind somebody or something that's been triggering you a little bit lately. Okay, so just think of someone or something. Just visualize it, maybe an organization or, whatever it is, or a group of people. I don't know. Whatever it is, just call it to mind, okay? And we're just going to take a couple of balancing breaths in and out through your nose. So nice and gradually in through the nose and out through the nose. In through the nose and out through the nose. Okay, just bringing the focus down into the heart chakra just for a moment, letting go of any thoughts, any feelings. And now I want you to visualize that person, that being, that group or that organization. Just visualize them in front of you without connecting any feelings to them, and just surround them with a pale blue bubble. And I want you to visualize yourself with your eyes closed in a separate pale blue bubble. And I want you to imagine now that between the two bubbles, connecting the two bubbles, is a rope. Could be an old gnarled rope or a piece of thread, a string, whatever it is. Just connect the two bubbles. And I want you now to sense, see or feel yourself cutting that rope, cutting through that thread or that string, just cutting it. And just seeing that bubble with that person in, or that organization, whatever it is, floating away from you. And as they float away, I want you to feel nothing but love for them. Just a beautiful, unconditional love. Just allow them to release, to drift away, to let go. And as they do so, you might just want to smile at them with pure love. You're just letting them go. The further they drift, the more encouraged you are to feel unconditional love for them. The more settled you feel in your heart. So just let them drift away until you no longer see them. just drifting away until they completely disappear. And just sit with that for a moment, that feeling of being liberated from that feeling, just lighter, feel lighter, feel more love, you feel lifted. And then just bringing your focus back down into the heart. Just bringing your focus back into the heart chakra. And just grounding yourself, anchoring yourself back down into the physical body. And then when you're ready and in your own time, opening your eyes. That's such a beautiful one, such a simple, so simplistic, which I love, but it's so powerful. So that's something that you can practice by yourself whenever you need to, whenever you feel those triggers. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for watching.